is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Call 6 Investigates is fighting for state records showing where people are dying in Indiana nursing homes. I'm Kara Kenny with why the state's latest response is shocking advocates, lawmakers, and even families.
Letting parents know that words do hurt, as well as, actions, and everyone should be responsible for what they do and say to others.
A family pulls their child out of school after they say she's been racially bullied continuously for months. The district's response tonight. Erasing the hate, racial slurs and hateful messages spray painted on a Muncie trail. We'll show you how the community got together to send a positive message. First at 6, breaking news tonight. One person is dead and another hurt after a double shooting on Indianapolis' Northside. It happened on the 1400 block of East 46th Street. That's near Arsenal Park. There's no word yet on the circumstances surrounding this shooting. Police have kept our news crew on the scene several blocks away from the park as the investigation continues. We will keep you updated on any developments. The State Department of Health says it will not release where nursing home residents have died or how many COVID-19 cases are at each Indiana long-term care facility. And what's more, the state says it does not have any documents tracking that information. Information families are telling us they want to know. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny is fighting back and filed a complaint with the state's public access counselor.
We've been asking the state for nursing home death and case information broken down by facility since April 21st. We even filed a complaint with the public access counselor. And now the state's response is shocking lawmakers, advocates, even families. Loretta Robinson was an active 74-year-old until a series of mini seizures sent her to the hospital and then South Point Health Care Center, a long-term care facility on Indy's South Side.
If that means she's going to recover and she gets better care than what we can do at home, then 3 weeks, we can do 3 weeks.
A tough call for her daughters, given nearly half of the state's COVID-19 deaths have been at long-term care facilities.
We went strictly on the recommendation from the hospital.
Loretta's daughters say after 5 days, their mom became so sick she had to go back to the hospital and is now fighting for her life.
My mom was unrecognizable. When I say that, she had bed sores all over her bottom. She was so dehydrated, she couldn't speak.
My family's devastated just by seeing how she is now. And, it was frightening.
Even though Loretta's tested negative for COVID, her daughters say she is showing some symptoms, which is why the hospital has Loretta in the COVID section. South Point tells us they've had 2 COVID deaths and 27 residents and employees have tested positive. Information South Point disclosed to Loretta's daughters once she was there, but the daughters say if the state had a database of nursing home deaths and cases, they could have looked it up before deciding where to take their mom.
But the only way that you can make the right choices for your loved one is to have accurate information. If you can't physically go and be in the facility yourself, you're depending on the accuracy of the information that's reported.
While the State Department of Health releases weekly nursing home aggregate totals, they're not saying where those COVID deaths and cases are happening. They won't release it to RTV6 or the public. In a formal response to RTV6's complaint, the state wrote, ISDH does not have requested records, and Indiana law does not require ISDH to create records to fulfill these requests. The state's public access counselor issued an opinion this week saying ISDH has not violated the Public Records Act if the agency doesn't have the documents. We shared these findings with healthcare experts.
I was really surprised.
Advocates.
I think it just really leaves us with more questions than answers.
And lawmakers.
It's remarkable. It's fraudulent. The coach wants to tell you the team's got so many points, but I'm not going to tell you who scored them. I find that incredible.
AARP wrote a letter to the governor urging him to release the data, but Director Sarah Waddle says the state told AARP the aggregate data is adequate.
That couldn't be further from the truth. And they could clear all of this up for us by just making it public and therefore I think making our communities more safe.
Seema Mohapatra agrees. She's a healthcare expert and a professor at IU McKinney School of Law.
You've kind of uncovered an area where there is no regulation, there is a public interest. And so this, we need to act to make sure that in the future we don't have this kind of issue happen again.
We know the state is collecting the information. Long-term care facilities are required to report a death or case to the state within 24 hours. Amen. So we asked state leaders at a news conference if they don't have a document to give us, are they even tracking it?
We look at that in 2-week intervals. What we're looking for is particularly, are there new cases that would signify a new outbreak in a facility so that we can have our strike teams go in there and we can have our infection control processes in place. So while we have chunks of time, we don't have a cumulative list of every facility, all of their cases, and all of their deaths.
With many facilities still limiting visitors, as is the case at South Point, families say public information is key, and RTV6 will keep fighting to get information you deserve to know.
You're depending on the accuracy of the information that's reported. If it's not reported, then the decision you make for your loved one can be a very bad decision.
The state isn't doing it, but Call 6 Investigates is. We're gathering nursing home death and case information from county health departments and facilities, and we're posting that on our website, WRTV.com, and the RTV6 app. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
Kara, thank you. No, we reached out to South Point, and because of privacy, they can't tell us what happened in Loretta's case, but they did say, quote, South Point Health Care Center is rated 5 stars for the quality of care offered, according to the Nursing Home Compare. We are confident that the person in question, like all residents of the center, received the very best care possible during their stay, end quote.
To not be heard, I mean, it was very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking.
A student says she was racially bullied for months and finally had enough when it happened during a Zoom e-learning session. Tonight, the teen and her parents are sharing their experience with RTV6's Stephanie Wade, and we're getting the response from administrators with the Westfield, Washington School District.
Tonight, a 13-year-old girl is no longer enrolled at Westfield Middle School after her family says she was racially bullied for months. The latest incident happening during e-learning.
She asked for the students to turn on their cameras, and that's when the children began chanting the N-word to Shayla once she turned her camera on.
Students chanting the N-word over Zoom with a teacher on the call.
I could hear it, and then by the time that I stepped in the front of the camera, they started chanting it again to me as a parent.
This just one of the horrifying experiences Shayla Johnson says she has endured. The first dating back to December.
Coughing in her face and referencing her as a monkey and asking her was she sexually attracted to orangutans.
I was worried about what my parents might think. I didn't want them to think that I was weak and that I didn't stand up for myself, because I tried to, but the words were just so hurtful.
For a child to say something like that and feel comfortable enough to say something like that, that's a scary situation for me.
The family says they've had multiple conversations and meetings with the administration, but the bullying never stopped.
I felt like no one really cared about how I felt.
It's out of your control, and you want to be there for your child and protect them, and I think that's what really hurts.
Shayla's mother, Brandy, posted what happened on Facebook. The principal then sent parents this video message the next day.
As the principal at Westfield Middle School, it breaks my heart to say that those incidences described in the post were reported to Westfield Middle School administration. Westfield Middle School has worked hard to identify those individuals involved and will continue to investigate.
The Johnsons calling on more training for faculty and staff on how to handle these situations swiftly and protect their students, and asking parents to have conversations with your children. Tell them that words hurt and racism is not okay.
Then they'll have the sympathy and also the knowledge to stand up and feel comfortable enough to report it.
Something Shayla wishes she had. Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
The school superintendent also addressed this issue this week at the school board meeting, saying in part, quote, one of our very own middle school students' experience was heartbreaking, and as WMS principal Mike Hall said last week, largely true, racism, intolerance, and harassment of our students and staff will not be tolerated. An investigation began immediately and remains ongoing, end quote.
We don't want people to see that. You know, it's not representative of our city, of us as a police department, our community.
Hundreds of people taking a stand today against racial slurs and hateful messages that were spray painted on a Muncie trail. It happened earlier this week on the Cardinal Greenway. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum shows us how the community worked together to send a different and more positive message.
These walls have a fresh coat of paint thanks to Muncie police and hundreds of community members. They worked together this morning to cover up hateful and offensive graffiti. It's meant to be a peaceful place, a trail you can bring your family to or go for a run or bike ride. But earlier this week, it became anything but.
It is disheartening. I mean, you bring your kids here, you just put your blinders on and you go, but, you know, it shouldn't be.
Muncie police say they were alerted to the graffiti and knew they had to act fast. They asked the community to join them in painting over it. The response was overwhelming.
We had our first coat probably done in 20 minutes. It was incredible.
Their goal, erase the hate.
This is exactly what we did. We covered up of everything here that was defamatory and, like I said, racial and just bad words that little kids and families don't need to see.
I think it's our responsibility as each individual that we need to step up right now and take action and show that we're all together and unified.
And make this a place everyone can enjoy.
You just want to go for a bike ride. You don't want to have to think, oh yeah, now someone doesn't think I'm doesn't think that I'm a first-class citizen. Someone doesn't think that I'm a good person because of the color of my skin.
Their message to the person responsible.
We're just not going to tolerate that. We're looking into actually doing some cameras, some trail cams, and, I anticipate that if it happens again, we'll be able to prosecute them.
This is what our community wants. This is not what we're about. It's just, those are just a few individuals. I think it shows the masses of people are not like that.
Hopefully we're erasing the hate that's in our hearts for someone else just because of the color of their skin. That's what really counts.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Well, city leaders now say that they hope to have local artists paint murals on the trail walls. IMPD has named the officers involved in the May 7th fatal shooting of 19-year-old Mikhail Rose, which happened just hours after Metro Police shot and killed Dre John Reed. Metro Police identified the 4 officers as David Loyal, Pepper Eldridge, Andrew Guzman, and Joseph Maxey. Investigators say they had been called to a burglary on Wood Glen Drive on the north side on May 7th. But when officers arrived, they say a man outside, Mikhail Rose, immediately started firing at them with a rifle. IMPD says all 4 of the officers returned fire, striking and killing Rose. Metro Police said at the time they believe Rose planned to ambush the officers. Right now, IMPD needs witnesses to come forward after someone shot and killed a man inside of Castleton Square Mall. Police still have not announced any arrests in this case. The Marion County coroner has identified the victim as 23-year-old Trey Terrell. Investigators say the shooting happened last evening inside the mall and continued into the parking lot. Detectives believe the people involved knew each other. Police are still working to find out what led to this gunfire. If you have any information, you're asked to call IMPD's homicide office at this number. It's 317-327-3475. We're getting another snapshot of how COVID-19 is impacting Indiana. Today, the State Department of Health tells us there have been 16 new COVID-19 deaths. That's down from 25 new deaths reported yesterday. So far, 2,214 Hoosiers have died from the coronavirus. The state also confirms 452 new cases of the virus. That's 3 more cases than the health department reported yesterday. Since the pandemic began, 39,146 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with COVID-19. More than 335,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the coronavirus. 11.7% of them tested positive for COVID-19. Stage 4 of the governor's reopening plan got underway today, except for Marion County. In Stage 4, up to 250 people are allowed at social gatherings. Restaurant dining rooms can increase capacity to 75%. Bars and nightclubs can open at 50% capacity. Retail stores and malls can open at full capacity. Museums, zoos, aquariums, movie theaters, bowling alleys, amusement parks, and water parks can open at 50% capacity. Marion County is a week behind most of Indiana in its reopening plans because it has the most COVID-19 cases and deaths in the state. Marion County will enter Stage 4 next Friday. Kevin.
What a way to end the work week. We'll talk about how these temperatures change going into the weekend and how long we'll stretch out our dry days coming up.
Indiana's getting back on track. Now it's time to get back to racing. Some of the stars of USAC's top national series are coming to Indiana. Find out where you can see some of the action coming up.
Dealer.
Are you ready for the weekend? I think I know the answer to that question. Well, if we're rating today, you can't give it a 10 because we always want to have room for improvement, right? But it's certainly up there. What a great day. It was warm, I grant you that, but the humidity very low. That kept it enjoyable. As we step into the weekend and more options start to become available, like pools, below average temperatures expected will be in the 70s. The wind not as strong. Lots of sunshine around. Let's get more specific. 59 tomorrow morning for the low. 52 on Sunday morning. You'll be able to open the windows, let the fresh air in. Temperatures no warmer than 76. I want to point this out. This is overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. Some of the computer models bring a few showers through southwest of Indy overnight and early Sunday. Notice that sharp dividing line, and then everyone will end up mostly sunny as we go through the day. So we'll keep our eye on that. Temperature 86 in Lafayette, 80 in Richmond. Temperature in Bedford, 87. Warmest I can see in Sullivan County. Sullivan is 88 degrees. Tomorrow's planner, plan on a few more clouds than today because there's a cold front that's going to work its way from really northeast to southwest. That will draw in or allow cooler air to filter into central Indiana. Our wind will be out of the northeast. That'll keep our highs in the 70s, about 76 in the metro area. The cooler air doesn't quite reach to the southwest, and that's not warm for this time of year, but lower 80s. Sunday planner, plan on temperature staying mid-70s to upper 70s. It'll be a little cooler everywhere, and that's after the refreshing start in the morning. Warmer temperatures return next week, and with that, a little more humidity. Temperatures continue to build after Wednesday, and one thing that will start to mix in will be the chance for some showers and thunderstorms, but not really until we get to the end of next week. Thursday and Friday, temperatures middle to upper 80s with that chance for thunderstorms once again. And instead of the lower 50s for overnight lows like we'll have into Sunday morning, overnight low temperatures once again will start to come back into the upper 60s. All in all, I think it's perfect timing for these temperatures and the weekend. Enjoy it all.
Enjoy it all. All right, thanks, Kevin. Racing fans may have missed out during the month of May, but there will be some hot laps turned in the Hoosier State this month, and the grandstands will not be empty for these events. Brad Brown has a look at where the action is taking place.
NASCAR was first to get rolling. IndyCar's gotten a taste of the action too. And now USAC's top national series are getting back on track as well. Last weekend saw races in Oklahoma and Iowa. Next week, they'll turn some laps back here in the Hoosier State.
You know, everybody's been cooped up and everybody's chomping at the bit. So we're firing right into it, you know, hot and heavy now. So that's great. Everybody's excited to be racing and everybody's trying to get to every race that they can.
Essentially, once you put that helmet on and go get on the racetrack, it's just it's another night. You're focused on, you know, going out and doing your best you can on the racetrack night in and night out. And when you're out there, you're not really thinking about anything except for doing that.
Indiana Midget Week starts on Tuesday. 6 straight nights of racing, one of the premier set of events on the dirt track calendar. Logan Seavey won the overall title a year ago.
I think USAC Midgets is right now probably one of the toughest series in the country. You look at the entry list, it's insane, you know. And it's tough. So every time you hit the racetrack, you got to be ready and you got to be good.
Gas City's I-69 Speedway will host next Wednesday's races. There are plenty of new challenges with the state's COVID-19 guidelines, but the business of racing takes a big step forward with these events.
When Governor Holcomb came back with his guidelines and his phases for reopening, and we had clarification on that, that really gave us a goal to say, okay, let's get ready, and we can come out of the box on June 17th. The USAC has done a great job of organizing the promoters.
For the drivers, it's been a welcome return to action and something resembling normal as spring turns into summer.
It's going to be, you know, a crazy week, but, you know, we do it every year, and it's just something that, you know, at the end of it, you're wore out, but you're almost wishing you could do it again the following week.
6 days in a row where you come back to the shop every night, walk wash your race car, sleep for a couple hours, come back, maintenance, load it back up, and go racing again.
We weren't full capacity at a lot of the tracks, but the energy was full. People were, cheering and screaming, and you could tell that they'd been, they're ready to be back.
The other big headline out of all of this is that fans will be able to attend the races as Indiana reaches phase 4 of Governor Holcomb's Back on Track plan. The racing begins on Tuesday night at Paragon Raceway. That is located just west of Martinsville. Gas City is on Wednesday night. Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville will host Thursday and Friday. Lawrenceburg and Kokomo will close out the week. You'll need to buy tickets in advance, though. USACtickets.com is the website. And again, each track will have only 50% capacity, and a lot of those seats have been sold already. Along with the midget cars each night, the USAC sprint cars will be running as well. Some of the best drivers from all over the country will be part of this. Sure to be some great racing each and every night next week. The news continues here on RTV6 after one more break.
Get the perfect match that will set them up for success.
The pandemic is creating more challenges and making sure everyone has enough to eat. So RTV6 is teaming up with Kroger and Second Helpings to get meals into the hands of those who are struggling to put food on the table. From June 15th to June 21st, whenever you shop at select Central Indiana Kroger stores, you can round up your grocery bill or select a donation amount of your choice when you check out. The proceeds will go directly to Second Helpings. Working together, RTV6 and the Scripps Howard Foundation will match up to $12,000 in donations. You can find out more at your Kroger store or at theindychannel.com/feedinghoosiers.
Mark, a comfortable start and a comfortable finish to your Saturday, right around 60 degrees first thing in the morning. Afternoon high temperatures, mid-70s with low humidity.
We want to thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Up next here is World News with David Muir. We'll see you back here tonight for the news at 7.